youngest of 4 children, Don Bell and Faith Bell. My 2 sisters are here. My brother lives out in California with love. He's here in spirit. Dad, I want to thank you so much for having me present you tonight. Folks, there couldn't be a better ambassador to this game than my father. I've had a stick in my hand since I was 3 years old. And it was great to hear the old stories of the wooden sticks, with the catgut sidewall and the leather. I'd string my stick. I'd spend hours soaking them in the oil and string them. The leather sticks. You don't even see them anymore. So, Dad, thanks for making the game part of my life. I've carried on to my son, Zach, coaching his teams now. And it's just a great game. And everybody here knows that. Everybody that's ever played and been a part of it. And anybody that knows my dad knows how humble he is, and how he would never, he was inducted into the Lacrosse Hall of Fame a few years back. He spent the first 5 minutes telling everyone how he didn't deserve the award. And I'm nudging my mother like, not only did you deserve that, Dad, you deserve this, and then some. You really do. Like I told the guys earlier, the head brothers here, if I can be just a small portion of what you've been through your life, believe me, it's unbelievable. My mother as well. Dad first began playing lacrosse at 14 years of age in a youth box league here in Rochester. They played before the professional team, the Iroquois, which had mostly Native American and Canadian players. And at the age of 16, they used him so as to see if they were here. 16 years old, he was playing professional lacrosse in goal. It's amazing. He then went on to Penn State. He played football, lacrosse. He played attack, midfield, and goal. Took over in goal midway through his junior year. Now that was the year Jim Brown, right? Junior year. You've all heard the story. I know it's changed over the years. Supposedly he stoned the great Jim Brown.
64 saves. 64 saves.
Jim Brown. In 15 years, Syracuse beat Penn State 15 years. In that year, that was the first year they'd beaten Syracuse. And Jim Brown, the guy, I think he scored 7, 8, 10 goals a game. And Dad came in, of course, he gives all the credit to his defense. The defense played a great game, yeah, right? He captained the team as a senior, was chosen All-Conference, All-American nominee. Had a great college career, started and coached the first team at MCC in 1968. Took them from a club team to a national junior college status within 2 years by 1970. What a great accomplishment that was. I was also the interim coach of the Grey Wolves. I talked to these guys, a couple of members. I don't know if everybody remembers the Grey Wolves back in the 80s, early 80s, and that was my brother and I were ball boys for that.
Still heard from it.
Tim, now the Nighthawks, right? do you remember the Grey Wolves? These guys.
Sedan, you can play for the Grey Wolves.
Lakeshore rinks, no face mask, and the blood flying. My brother and I were sitting there behind them. We're like, holy cheese, and he just pounding each other. It was great. Those are just, and also ball bowling for Dad when he'd take the guys on the road trips at MCC. He'd get out and he just starts. He's like a whole other person. He starts slapping around back and screaming and yelling. And my brother and I look at each other, who's this guy? After the game, the guys, like I told you guys, you can tell the camaraderie and what he meant to you guys as players, and what he's given back to us, to his players. Still to this day, he's helped high school teams in Webster and through the area. And just loves to get out. With the grandkids, doesn't miss a practice, doesn't miss a game. My son practices football 4 days a week. He's there at every practice. Lacrosse, he's there. He takes the time. Knights of Columbus. He's just amazing man, and I'm so proud of him. And he's so deserving of this award. And my son's first First present was a stick. He brought it to the house when he was, 2 days old, whatever it is. He's ready to go. So, I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time. I just had some things written down. I wanted to speak mostly from here and just convey that from the whole family, congratulations. And we love you. And get up here and say a couple words.
I have some notes here, but I'm sure I'm not going to be able to read them. Peter, thank you so much. Those are very touching remarks. I agreed with all of them except the one I was screaming, raging, idiot. I don't think so.
Yeah!
It was so nice to have had a son who has been engaged in this wonderful sport, as so many of we have been. Make that presentation. I really appreciate it. Pete was an exceptional attacker. And Paul, I'm not sure you remember this, but I got so angry at him. He'd line up and throw the ball from behind the plane of the goal. How this thing ever got it, I'll never know. And I thought, wow, nice, let's get lucky on that one. Get yourself in front so you see some net. All right, he did it again. He did it again. I said, how in the world does he ever do this? There can't be that much net that was showing. He was able to stick that thing in there just as uniquely as I've ever seen. But anyway, he's still carrying that. Again, this is what it's all about. We're all in the same game. And he's still working very hard with a group of youth in Webster. And of course, our Zach. Stand up, Zachary. There you go. Zach spent his first year in pads this year, football. And he had one whale of a time making 105. But look at him now. Eating the right food, exercising daily, military push-ups, sit-ups, and all that.
If I could hang out back here, you do.
I can't tell you my very strong feelings that I have for those wonderful, distinguished people that have joined me in this class of 2005. I have great respect for each and every one of them, not only for what they did in lacrosse, but who they are as a person. Oftentimes we're known for that by what we do. But I know them from a very personal standpoint, and what wonderful things they did for me. John, we accepted so many of the kids. I remember a conversation with you one time, and I said, I got a kid coming up there by the name of Mark Sarah, and I said, I use him in the midfield because I had to. And I said, make a heck of an attack. Mark was one of those guys that he was always out before everybody else. And he'd be doing the dips and the doos and the face dodges and the rolls and everything else, and throw that ball in the goal, and I hear this, yeah, go on. I mean, this one, he says, and I'd walk by him and I'd put the balls on the bench or whatever had to be done to prepare for practice. And Mark would spend a lot of time just working on the ball. And I said, he had a heck of a shot. And I told John, please use it in attack because I think he'll do very well there as he was down in midfield. But so many of our players, you've been so helpful to carry the tradition on, and you've left them. You've left each of them as part of our society. And we're all giving back in many, many ways, as fathers, spouses, and of course, very successful in the community. I would hate to mention individuals, but the heads are here, and Bobby Menz, Ella Kirstein. I mean, all these guys jumped through hoops for us. They helped us establish lacrosse at NCC. I came along and I was given the opportunity. Again, life is this way. You're just, if you're in the right place at the right time, things do happen. And I was hired, and one of the reasons why I was hired, George Monaghan, our first AD and first everything, who recently passed away. George gave us a start. He worked very hard to put some money together. They got us uniforms and helmets, sticks, and the sticks I bought sometime when we were still working uptown. And they were stored in a closet area, and I forgot about them. And when I went to take them out and move them to our new campus in 1968, every stick, and they're all wood, were all mowed. I had to throw them all out, and of course I went and I said, gee, I'm awfully sorry, could we get some money? So they were good enough to supply us. But, you know, this game began for me, this month is my 60th anniversary. Happy anniversary. As Peter pointed out to you, this began, and for all the wrong reasons. I loved hockey. Turk Broda, the goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Vezina Trophy winner and all that kind of stuff. He was I had his picture all over me. I used to spend time under the covers listening to the Toronto Maple Leafs play on Friday nights, and if they played during the week, I'd sneak it in because I had to be in bed. They grew in the morning, all that kind of stuff, and it all had to be done. But he was my idol. Anyway, the surface here was not, was unique from the standpoint as the city recreation parks would come in and flood a depressed area. And that would be our skating area, but we couldn't use that until all the skaters were off the ice. And that was at 9 o'clock every night. So the rest of us would mount the ice at that time, put our skates on, and we'd play. And then it got to a point where we enjoyed some of these warm days, even back then. And next thing you know, there would be ruts in the ice. It was very discouraging. So we, a friend of mine said, hey, would you like to play lacrosse? And I said, what's lacrosse? Like so many of us, I'd never heard of it. Well, 2 goals, something like hockey, and it's indoors. And I said, oh, you're on. So that's where it all began. And I don't know why I can't do anything with my left hand except tap. You know? And I end up with the head of the stick over my left shoulder. And that's where it stayed. I've been a left-hander from the very beginning. No reason to be, but I was. And in my day, we didn't have an awful lot of guys that went both ways. Today, it's not, right? You better do it. But and I was very fortunate then because I came to Penn State, and Coach Steele never really trusted me at goal. I mean, I played with, a 4x4 goal in the box, and then you went to Penn State and you had an 8x8 goal, or a 6x6 goal. Things haven't changed that much. But anyway, I played in front of that goal like I did in that little goal in the box. With one hand on the stick, and I stopped them all with my body. He says, you can't do that. You're going to get killed. So one thing led to another, and he fixed me a fiberboard chest protector with adhesive tape on it, and 2 thongs running from either side around my neck, and one that I tied around my side. It was great, but the balls used to be boom, and the defenseman would say, gee, catch the ball. They had not only play defense, but they had to play all the rebounds coming off me. But it was a great run because again I played 3 positions, and always from the left side, and that was a lot of fun. And then junior year, I got to a point where Coach Steele thought, well, best thing to do is stick you in the goal and see what you can do because the other goaltender wasn't doing anything. That's the only reason why I ended up there. But to make a long story short, I had done pretty well. We played at Navy. Came back on a Sunday morning, went to early mass. I had a lot of homework left to do that weekend. And went to early mass, got home, and one of my fraternity brothers ran up and says, geez, Bell, you made the New York Times. Take a look at this thing. I didn't even think the New York Times had a sports page. Do they? Maybe he was, but here it was. Midshipman St. PSU, 21-3. Unorthodox goalie makes 3 saves. Now, do you know how the length of the game had, it's still 15-minute periods, but you can't imagine. Service academies in those days, and I'm not sure it isn't true today, that each of these cadets, midshipmen, had to participate in a sport, either in a real sport or varsity sport. So consequently, Navy had not only very skilled players, but they had an awful lot of them. So this is what happened, and they had 15 lines. You know, and our kids just got so tired. And the ball come off me, and they pick it up and throw it again. I had a black and blue mark around me that surrounded my whole chest after that. And you know how they used to get, it was white in the middle, and then you got little rows on the end, and then black and blue on the, well, it was nothing new for me, but it was something I dearly enjoyed doing, stopping balls. My recollection of Syracuse, Penn State, was always in football, and wrestling, gymnastics, boxing, anything we had. Syracuse and Penn State were always great rivals, and I hated to see that end, because you know, I'm becoming part of the Big Ten. But Jimmy Brown, I didn't tell you this though, Peter. I didn't tell anyone of you guys this either. I always said when I played against Jim Brown, he ran track that morning at Penn State. And he came over with his track shorts on, threw on a jersey, and he picked up another game. So he was pretty exhausted by the time he got to us. Coach Roy Simmons, senior, came over and I heard him say, "Where's your goalie, Nick?" Nick and he were teammates together in Syracuse. Mike coach and Roy Simmons senior. And he gave me the game ball. Tim, don't forget, take that ball and be very proud of it. Did he give it to you? Bill give it to you?
Yeah.
All right. I can't find it. I know it's around someplace. I never threw it out. And Ralph has got these things all categorized. That guy has got everything all together. He can tell you all, in our conversations, he's just bringing all these great things back to memory. But he's got it all categorized, all in a box. I don't know where mine. But I know I didn't throw it out. I know it was quite meaningful. When I started the team at MCC in 1968, the fields had not changed any, Ralph. They were all the same. And a lot of our kids were recreational lacrosse players. They had never been on a competitive league. A few of you got to work for you guys that came. Bobby Menz came out of it. He had just spent 2 months down there as a plebe. I can't believe it. That guy there, all that guy. Anybody would have made a great naval officer. It was Bob Menz. He would go through a brick wall. He wouldn't ask him which one, he'd ask how high. He was a great athlete, and still is today. But these are the kinds of kids that have been part of that whole program and have really helped us establish a program at MCC. And in the big picture, we didn't win very many, did we? Huh? We came close.
Yeah, we did.
Loved Cornell. Hey,
Yeah, we
Mark.
did.
Remember
We won.
Cornell?
We won.
Who was that guy that played attack whose
McInerney.
daughter had the daughter had the nerve to have his sister get married the same day we played Cornell? Mark Waterstream, remember him? Huh? I told Mark, I said, forget about it. It isn't that we didn't need you, but forget about it. Listen, it's a 10:30 wedding, game was at 2, please don't even give it a thought. He's coming down Sholkoff Field, he's coming down that entrance, he's throwing stuff all over, putting his jersey on. He got there in the second half. And thank God. We played them tough. I had to scrape everybody off the floor, off that turf, that Sholkoff, that afternoon. What a game they played. Beat them, I guess we got beat by a goal, didn't we? Mark, you remember that. You had the last shot.
No, we won.
Huh?
We won.
In
my world.
Richie, he didn't care too much for that, did he, huh? He put people in different uniforms, same numbers, but different people, right?
Yeah.
And he hated to lose to MCC, but that was a very memorable event, not only for me, but for all these other kids that played with us. I had a young fellow who played defense with me and Larry. This kid was a knocker too. I replaced his face mask almost every game. it's all askew, pushed in, everything else. You know, you really can't play this way. I'm running out of money. I said, my budget is very limited, so I used to go over, make a phone call, and somebody would, one of the sports companies would send it back very quickly as possible. I'd go home, you know, take the dance, throw it out, put another one in. This one in throughout the season. God, I'm glad he graduated. I just thought there was one. This kid here went in from someplace down there, Penny Ann, Finger Lakes area. And his name was Harry Queener. Now Harry had a very, very queasy stomach. At the beginning of every game, Harry had a barf. And remember that, Harry? He'd lift this, help the face mask up and away it'd go and put it back down, and boom like this, fasten the chin strap, and I said, all right, ready to go, guys, let's go. And that's how we started. And Harry, again, was one heck of a defenseman. And it was guys like the Heads, the Sarens, the Kirsteins, the Menses, that made this, made MCC what it was, and made my day what it was. Coaching, again, for many of us is X's and O's. And I think it far exceeds that, and all of us who coach know that. It's, I have never knowingly played mind games with players. I did sit somebody down at Cornell, a defenseman there. He wasn't holding the post at all. He was a big guy, and I said, what's wrong with you today? Okay? Yeah, okay. I said, you better start playing. We're going to ride that bench. So I took I don't know what to put in, I didn't have anybody. I took him out, sat him down. It wasn't a mind game. It was something, I kept on going back. I said, are you ready to play? You see what's going on out there? Are you ready to play? They said, okay. I'm ready to play. I said, well, get out there and do it. He did. You could hear him all over the stadium. I thought we had exercise in after, you know? And running and rolling and everything else. But he did learn one thing, that you know, you have to play the whole game, not just when you feel up. Coaching, again, has provided us with it was very difficult because, again, there were so few teams here. And if it wasn't for those young men who I named and come here with us to share some time with us this evening, it wouldn't have happened. But we had, you know, little Frank Mangione, God bless him. I used to say to him, Frank, stand up. He says, Coach, I am standing up. All of these kids came out, and we had young people from Churchville, China. I don't think they still have a team, do they? Churchville, China, do they? Thank God. And this young man, they didn't know anything about lacrosse in Churchville, China. He came out, and we were down at Dr. Cortland Community College, and we had 11 guys. 10 on the field, and this fellow from Churchville, China on the bench. And somebody came out and said, hey, Coach, the goalie just came out of Army. And I said, oh, is that right? And he was at the military getting in the eye. I said, so what? We beat them. We had 10 guys in the field. Billy Strang's clearing the pass, right? He's coming down, he's running down the field. Lots of talk, and I'm following the clearing pass. And all of a sudden I hear this whack, and I turn around and the attack, but whom he beat, came up and hit him right in the head. And poor Billy's coming right toward me, and his eyes are crossed. I mean, that was it for Bill. And I had 9 guys on the field, and this fellow from Churchville, China. And I said, okay, your turn. But you were all great. Those of you who played that game, remember, we beat them. We went in the locker room, shared the locker room with them, and that was the sound of that. They couldn't believe that they got beaten by 9 guys and somebody from Churchville, China. But I think it's the trust and faith that we had in one another. And again, I just can't tell you the feeling I have and the feeling that's been generated as a result of the letter I got from Jody and from Brian, indicating that I was chosen as one of the inductees for this evening. It had something much to do with not only me, but all of you. You supported me, you gave me the opportunity to become a coach. to become an official and to certainly support me in my playing years. I can't thank you enough for that. For my family, where could I have gone without you, Faith? And the children were fatherless for I don't know how long. You know, if you had somebody that needed medical attention, you went to the hospital with them. I was the only one. Remember those days, Paul? We had just one coach, and you hope the guys on the other end of the field were doing what you asked them to do while you worked with the guys on the other end. But that's about what it was. And it was just one of us and just a few of you that made all of what I did a most pleasant experience. But I want to thank each of you, and it was just great to share this time and space with so many of you that I know. And I want to thank the U.S. Lacrosse Committee, Jody especially, for the fine work that you did. And regardless of what Gene said, I think you're a pretty nice guy. Thank you so very much.